How's it going? Adjust the camera here. We'll wait for everyone to show up. What's this button? Oh. Hey Southpaw, how's it going? Good to see ya. Sanja, hi. Liza, how's it going? How's everybody? Oh, morning Deja, how's it going? Hey Southpaw, I am here, I made it. Hey Liza, good to see ya. Hey Marina Garcia, good to see ya. Ooh. Man, I'm good. I'm still, I'm good. Ooh, all right. How have I been? I've been okay. Been doing all right. Not bad. How are you doing? I'm sorry to hear that, Southpaw. All right, give me 1 second and we'll dive right into it. To get my, you'd think I'd have my card decks out and ready to go. Good morning, Destiny. Good to see ya. Okay. Okay, so I know. Hey Jenna, how's it going? I haven't seen you on live in so long. How are you? I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Been all rightish. I hear ya. Yeah, I've been good. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Okay. Hey Jim Boy 444. All right. So I know I saw some questions, so I'm gonna go back and start this. Give me 1 second. I feel like I need to set some intentions really quickly. Okay, so Starlight Worker asks, general reading about our relationship, please. I'm guessing this is about your romantic relationship. Okay, so let's see if they give me any messages first and foremost. The first word they give me is transformation, which makes sense. Like the first words I'm hearing is it will blossom, but it's in a bit of a transmutation stage. We have gold and silver violet flame dragon transmutes the old around you with wisdom and grace. And they're really pointing my attention and my intuitive visuals to the butterfly on this card as well. That's where they give the word blessing. And like you're not on the wrong track in that relationship is what they want to say first and foremost. It's supposed to evolve and transform. Because you're both shifting as individuals is what they're talking about. But I do get it's meant to go further is what they're talking about. Starlight Worker. They're saying, it's, interestingly enough, is meant to be something a bit bigger, which I think is a really interesting message. I hope that makes sense to you. But it's definitely not something that's supposed to end tomorrow is what they're talking about. I'm going to pull a quick tarot card as well. 20,000 tarot cards. Okay. So we have 6 of Wands falling out of the deck, which is victory, which is good. And that's kind of the words I'm getting meant to go further. We also had the Fool, and they want the Hermit as well. The Fool popping out as well. And the Hermit. So I want to see what specific messages they bring besides what I've already said. I get this interesting message for you, like don't hold back in that relationship. You're also just not meant to be alone. And what I mean by that, does that mean at some periods, it doesn't mean you're just never gonna feel or be alone. It just means like in general, you're not someone who's meant to be alone for like your whole life. Does that make sense? And I don't think you're really gonna be, honestly, unless you need it or unless you need introspection. But I do really get any other answers you need are really forthcoming in the relationship with any specific questions. I honestly get, they're putting my eyes to the dog and they're saying they're loyal, this other individual as well. So that's, are they? Yeah. Yeah, at least for the most part. And so anything else for you on this one? Yeah, they're just reiterating it. You're supposed to go further. Is what they're talking about. I get an interesting message because the Ace of Swords is popping out here as well at the bottom of the deck, and it's something like new beginning. which I find is very interesting. But it's like with the person you're with is kind of what I'm saying. Like it's kind of, I think that's more about the transformation they're talking about. So I hope that helps. Like I don't feel like you need to ditch that person is what they're talking about. I hope that makes sense. But they're a good person is what they're saying. Deja, I had a dream I did Reiki. Any thoughts? They're like, you might as well. It's definitely worth doing that if you want to get into that. For you, it's a tool you'll have for your whole life to help people and to help yourself. It can really help you upshift, like your trajectory, what you can do. I do get it would really open you up in a good way as well. There's very few instances in which I would not recommend Reiki. Like there's some people that I'll talk to and they'll be like, yeah, Reiki just wouldn't be your jam. But there's just no, to me, downside to having more universal life force energy flowing through you, which learning Reiki definitely does, because you get the attunements and you have more universal life force energy flowing through you. It's just good for everybody. So they're just kind of like, might as well. That's cool. You had a dream about it though. Abdul, should I stay at my current job? Not forever, for a time. I'd give it a few more months at least, but I'd give it like a year tops, and then I'd potentially move on, is what they're saying, Abdul. Hope that helps. Hazel, how is the future of my relationship with Eddie? I actually think it's going to go great, but be patient with them, is what they're saying about that. They're giving this message like he's doing his best, and I'm not trying to call you out, but they're like, hey, don't force him to do anything he doesn't want to do, is something they're saying as well. There's this message as well, like hopefully it's not anything explicitly bad, but there's this message of like he's still learning how to treat you, so be patient and teaching him how to treat you just through any healthy boundaries you set or anything like that. I get great guy though. Hopefully that resonates and makes sense. That's what I'm getting for you. Okay. Good morning, Jamie Bixby Moore. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Z Macchiato asks, any messages from my guides and angels to you? So let's see, what are the highest and best messages to Z Macchiato from their guides and angels? From the guides and angels, that would be highest and best to speak. I get this message like you're going through a rebirth, interestingly enough. And they're giving me this visual. Let's see if they give me more words to describe it. It's like you're almost like you're squeezing yourself through a tight hole. And it's almost like birth energy. And like there's a couple visuals they're giving to describe it. Like you could literally be like the birth canal. It could be like a butterfly when it forces itself out of a cocoon, and like has to kind of force itself out to kind of squeeze the water out of its wings so it can survive. It's almost like you're going through a bit of a tight squeeze, but it's actually like more of a rebirth. So if I can get the words out of my mouth there. So what else is coming through for you? So this card that came out, Earth and Water Dragon, creates the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. So let's see what else they want to... oddly enough, my eyes are getting drawn to the fireflies on this card. Hey, Lacey, how's it going? There's little fireflies on this card. I think fireflies going to come out more in the summer, but they're saying springtime is going to be important for you coming up here, Z Macchiato. It's definitely like, I guess there's just a lot of words of renewal and rebirth. Maybe that's a theme coming up here, because that's what I'm getting for you with this card as well. I also get the words, there's hope. Your future is definitely brighter than you realize. They're giving this message like, get on your path. And like I get this message like you know what you're supposed to be doing, and hopefully you do. But that's what they're saying, is you know what you're supposed to be doing. Anything you feel like you should be doing that you're not doing, honestly, I'd get on it, because it's going to lead you to good things, honestly, like they're saying, to victory, to renewal, to rebirth. They're giving a quick message, just a reminder, and this comes through, and it's Not that you do this, but they're just saying, yeah, don't go back on your word. So if you've given your word to anyone, I'd just, unless it's just a boundary you need to set and you thought you could keep it, but you can't, like try not to go back on your word. Anything else for you? I'm going to pull another card here. Okay, this makes sense with the hope message that came through. Rainbow Dragon brings a leap of faith, of joy that opens new doors, but leap of faith came out of my mouth, so that might be something that you need to consider as well. Have trust, rediscover wisdom, expect miracles, accept opportunities. They're really pointing my eyes to the sun on this card, and they're giving me singing that song, Here Comes the Sun, from the Beatles. I think that's the Beatles. So honestly, like, I get December, honestly, there's just gonna be a bit more pep in your step. I want to see if there's anything more explicit and like specific for you that they want to bring through. Honestly, I feel like you're on the right path. You just need to take action, if that helps clarify. We had the golden solar dragon behind that card as well with the Here Comes the Sun message. I think that's funny as well. I mean, honestly, don't let people jerk you around, of course. You know what? Do you do music? Because they're giving this cricket card, always reminds me of the music notes. I said something about getting into music. There are also messages in music for you is what they're talking about. They're also giving the message good luck is coming, which they typically bring through with this card. So that's good. Hope that helps. I'm going to pull, they want like one more card. Okay. So with Two of Cups coming in, I get this message of divine connection. I would definitely pay attention to anyone new coming into your life, because this is typically a card of soulmates with the Two of Cups. It can also be about higher connection with like your higher self. I don't actually, this time I'm getting more, it's like, is it more of a person? I think it is more of a person this time when I check in. So I'd keep an eye out for, it could even be a friend, it could be a lover, but just someone who just feels like some type of divine counterpart or someone who's really divinely guided into your life. Because you just have more connections coming in that are divinely inspired is what they're talking about. And I'd also watch out for your kundalini. That's jumping out at me as well with this Two of Cups. There's the kundalini on the staff. So I'd pay attention to that. Kundalini yoga might be something you look into if you're into that, if you can do that. But for some reason, like, or maybe a meditation for kundalini. I guess it's gonna rise soon here, any time frame. Probably in the next few months. So just keep an eye on that and see what happens there. Other than that, the devil popped out briefly. I'd try to avoid any addictions. And so I'm gonna move on, but I hope that helps. I get this message like you're gonna be awesome. It sounds very vague, but so what are they gonna be awesome with? You're gonna be an awesome person is what they're saying. So Morzy, that's a very interesting point of view, but they actually do. They communicate to everyone if you're open enough to listen. And just because you haven't had that experience doesn't mean other people don't. So I'm going to block you if I can find you here. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Nope, if I can get out of my comment section here. Oh, thanks. Can you actually block them? I don't feel like dealing with them in the next live. Thanks. Thanks so much. Okay, anyways. Yeah, everyone can talk to their angels, guys. It's not just me. Well, it takes some practice sometimes for people, sometimes, depends on who you are. Let's see. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. Liza, did I dream of one of my spirit guides recently? I get yes, honestly. Excuse me. There's also a bit more to that dream is what they're talking about. If you haven't heard from them, I get like you're really getting ready to communicate with them more frequently is what they're talking about. Like I do get they're going to start showing up in your life around you more. I do get you're going to start hearing from them as well. Too, which is really cool. So I would definitely keep paying attention to your dreams, but also you can set the intention you bring that back to your waking life is what they're talking about, and you'll start to encounter that more. Um, there's also a quick message I'm seeing with you is like there's definitely like it's like an energy of fertility is what they're showing me with you. And it's not just like having babies. It's that can also apply to the rest of your life. Like it's fertile for abundance, for growing what you want to see, and things like that as well. But that's something they're showing me for you as well, Liza. So yes. Amanda Nicole, what do I need to hear from my guides right now? I get you're turning things around. The Five of Cups is coming out for you for this reading. Honestly, Five of Cups, the way I like that it's red, when I see it red, and it's kind of what they're guiding me to read it for with this live as well, is you have these spilled cups here, but when you turn around, there's two cups and a bridge that leads to this castle. So you might have, why I say turnaround, first of all, it's the word they gave me was turnaround, but you're kind of turning things around where if you felt like you spilt milk or something like that, or spilt this area of your life or lost something, there's actually much better for you, and you're going to be able to turn it around. And I get this message for you, like the castle is filled with everything you dream of. Like you're definitely going to be heading in the right direction is what they're talking about, no matter how things have been in the recent past. Anything that's happened during Mercury in retrograde, you're going to have a full recovery from is what they're talking about, because they said full recovery for you. And you know what? It's funny. These cards kind of flipped over after I picked that card up, excuse me. And we have the 10 of Cups here. So I got in a year, 10 of Cups, which is like happy home, happy life. I also got wish fulfillment as well. I would also be making wishes like this November, interestingly enough. I don't know why November, but for some reason November is the period of time I'd be making wishes. Because it's like, I see like a lot of that wish fulfillment will come in the next year, interestingly enough, is something I'm getting. So anything else for you? Pull quick dragon card. Okay. Green Gold Dragon from Sirius brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology. Be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. Let's see. I get this message of like a lot of people around you handing you a lot of keys. There's this key on this card that the dragon is holding. And what does that mean? I get like there's going to be a lot of people around you dropping like bits and pieces of what you need. So that could be like spiritual information. That could be very synchronistic. That could be people just telling you things you need to hear or advice you need to hear. It's almost like people around you are just like through little things they say or through conversations, they're going to be dropping you puzzle pieces where you're able to put your path together more is what they're talking about. I do see you being less confused as well, if that's been an issue. So anything else for you? That's it. That's kind of what I'm getting for this live, at least. But you're not on the wrong path. Is something they want to talk about as well. Anything else? Yeah. No, I think you're heading in the right direction. Like they're just saying things like you're transforming the past. So I don't know why transformation is such a big theme for this live, but I hope that helps and makes sense. You're welcome, Amanda Nicole. I'm gonna go back to the Q&A. Prince Priestess, any mythical gods, goddesses that want to work with you? I was hearing Yemaya, which is I believe that's from Africa. She's a goddess of water from Africa, is what I'm hearing. Ganesha likes to jump forward like a lot when I do readings, but he wanted to jump forward as well. So anyone else coming through for you? I would also look into the Roman pantheon, interestingly enough. Roman pantheon is not one I'm as familiar with. Like I believe like there's Artemis, I believe there's Apollo, but I believe they're just saying Roman pantheon, anyone in specific. They're saying you have to find it. I don't think I'm familiar enough with the Roman pantheon to even like they'll give me a random name, but that's where I would start as well with that. Like they did say Apollo, but I think there's like one in there that I don't have the name for that you would feel drawn to, is pretty much what I'm getting for you about that. Anything else for you, gods and goddesses? I would definitely pay attention to goddess energy is what they're talking about. I do get you're stepping into that more and starting to embody more of that frequency. And you're kind of one of the perfect people to bring it through, is what they're talking about. But I do see, like, there's nothing wrong with gods, but goddesses in particular are going to be drawing you in, is what I'm getting. So I hope that helps. Oh, Gaia is is jumping forward last second. But it's really funny. There's one reader that I like, and I'll get readings from her occasionally. Anna's Synergy Healing is her Facebook page. But one time I got a reading for her, and she's like, you know what? Don't be afraid to work with, like, Gaia, because it's like, Gaia, you're on the deity. I'm like, that's a good point. And I don't always remember to think of Gaia as a deity. I'll definitely, like, work with Gaia and ask for Gaia with help with things, but of course Gaia is a deity, so that's something they want to talk about. Hi, yeah, you're welcome. So next Q&A here. Bobby M. Han asked, how do I recover from this feeling of betrayal? Let's see. So let's see what they want to bring through for you, because I think it goes back a little bit more than just the explicit betrayal that you're referring to. Some of it is, first of all, there's a couple things they're saying. First of all, it's not your fault. I'm not sure if that helps to hear that, but they did want to say it's not your fault. Second of all, it goes back to, like, some of the story you're telling yourself about it. If it was someone, like, in a relationship, they're saying, like, that other party was not right for you, is what they were talking about, first and foremost. You're definitely meant for more and meant for better. But I would try to switch up the story you're telling it yourself and look at it from a few different angles. Like, one question I'd ask yourself that they're guiding me to say is, like, is it really about me? Is the first question I'd ask. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me ask for clarification. Sometimes people make choices that have nothing to do with you that feels like has something to do with you. And I'm not saying that feeling of betrayal isn't valid, because it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks when you either have a loved one who just doesn't consider you or just goes out on you. But think of all the patterns that underlie what they say and do, and all the human patterning and all they've been through. Usually those choices have nothing to do with you, of course, and that's something they want to remind you of as well about that. Anything else? The other thing they're saying is, like, you actually got set free, whatever you're referring to with the feelings of betrayal. And sometimes it's a bit of a process of uncovering what underlies the feeling. Like, what thoughts am I telling myself about this? What did I think I was going to get that I didn't get, is something they're saying as well. And once you kind of get underneath the pattern, it has less to stand on, and the pattern collapses, and you're able to process out that feeling without reiterating a story that allows that feeling and pattern to run, is what they're talking about. So anything else for you, Bobby? Like, it's definitely time to move on. Take as much time to grieve and process as you need. Let's see. I do get also, if you haven't already, but starting anew will also help you get over that feeling of betrayal. Because as you move forward, some of the clarity you need on top of that really helps to come in. So anything else card-wise? You probably already have, but oh, okay. Lord, we will still accept and send healing. You are a being of the universe. Interesting, if you want to take it to an energy work level as well, I pulled this card, and one thing they talked about was, like, I invite in the highest and best divine energies to wash away the betrayal and the feelings of betrayal. That could be a meditation for you. Is just sit and, like, okay, I call upon the highest and most divine energies to wash over me, to wash away any feelings of betrayal, to help bring me any clarity and truth that would be for my highest good at this time. And just see, like, what realizations you have and what shifts as you're sitting with that energy. That might be a good way to help shift it as well. Hope that helps, Bobby. Wholeness overflow. What's next in love for me? No connection yet. It's coming. Um, Bobby Man, I missed it. Okay, I'll repost this on YouTube. I need to post my last Q channel day on YouTube too. I'll do that today. So Wholeness Overflow asks, what's next in love? Seven of Cups is a card of options, is what they're talking about for you. I get something like you're going to have 3 choices. Oh, Ten of Pentacles popping out after that, which is everything you want. This is actually a really good card in love, how I've seen some readers read it, which is how I read it as well. Because it's almost like, it's very grounded, it's stable, and it's like what you were hoping for is what I get as the words with this card with Ten of Pentacles. But they're saying to give it a year. I wouldn't like be jumping headlong into anything. But this is what's coming. I would definitely be... Deja, just so you know, if we delete a repeated question in the Q&A for some reason, it deletes it all. Okay, no worries. You can just let them fly and just try to remind people not to spam, because otherwise it... anyways, so let's see. I want to see if they give me any more information for you, Wholeness Overflow. Yeah, I'd get on those dating apps and stuff. Like the words they're giving me explicitly, like, hey, get on those dating apps and stuff because it's coming. So you'll be sitting pretty. Empress coming out after that as well. I do get you'll be happy in love, but the Empress is abundant. I think you're going to have some of the best options yet for you is what they're talking about. Because they're saying like, oh, you're going to have some of the best options. But I would try your best to get into your Empress energy and your abundance. And we have the Sun coming out after that. Wholeness Overflow, it's looking really, really good is what I'd say for you. 7 of Cups, the Empress, 10 of Pentacles, the Sun. You just have to be patient and put yourself out there. And make sure you're owning your worth because the people are going to see it. Cool. All right. You know what? That all looks very happy. You're going to make the right choice in love as well. So I hope that helps. Let's see here. Bree. Anything from C, what he's thinking, IDK, if I should just move on. Let's see. First thing I'm hearing is like, don't move on quite yet. Give it just a second. But what's up with C? What's he thinking? The visual they give me for C is like a dog chasing its own tail. I'm not saying he's a dog, but like they're kind of like, it's almost like he's chasing his own tail. What's that about? It's kind of like he's in his own loop is what they're talking about. I would give him one chance is what they're talking about. But the second he shows you you're not like a priority, I'd kind of dip out. Bree is what they're talking about. They're like, he's a good option, but there's better coming in for you is what they're talking about. And sometimes I bring through this information and I'm like, well, I wouldn't move on just yet, but by the time it all comes through, you're probably going to be moving on anyways after you hear it all. So I don't know. I think it's funny when they do that because most people end up like, oh, well, why am I giving him a chance? And they move on and it's fine. That's probably the right choice anyways, but I don't know. That's what I get for you. Like he's okay, but you'd have to be patient with him. So anything on his specific thoughts about you, they kind of show him going back and forth. It's like he wants you, he wants something else, he wants you, he wants something else, he wants you, he wants something else. So that might be like where that chasing his own tail thing comes in, and that might be why you want to move along even after they said give him a chance, which totally understandable. Don't feel like you have to give him a chance if you don't want it. So hope that helps. Yeah, I know, Deja. So let me see if I can help out. I do my best. Yeah, Deja, avoid spamming. Yeah, if you could, do your best not to spam Q&A overly much, guys, or the chat. It does kind of make it difficult to get through things. I do try to get through as much as I can. Shamika, thanks for the love and light. I do try to go back and answer Q&A questions. They are not in order. It is, it's, I'm not going to say it's a lawless land, but it's pretty sporadic. So I do my best, and I'll jump between the Q&A and the chat just to try and keep up with who's here and who's Q&Aing. But try to give, if you're going to ask the same question, try to give it a little bit of space between it. At least a few minutes is what I'd say, and that will help keep things a little bit flowy. Sunshine and Moon 56 asked, London or Brighton or other to move to one day? Between London or Brighton, it's more of a yes on Brighton, but they're really shouting other. I'd look for something else, because you're going to shift and change and want something different than what those provide is what they're talking about. You might still like half want some of what they offer. I'm not saying you're going to be like, London, eh. It might just be like, but your energies are shifting and you're going to start to entrain to a higher place is what they're talking about, and start to call in some higher experiences that aren't either of those two. But if it was going to be between Brighton or London, it'd be Brighton. So anything else? But I would say open to something completely different, because they're saying it's not going to be either of those two. So that's what I get. Hope that helps, Sunshine and Moon. Hey, the Empress 444, good to see ya. Lindsay Wright, am I on the right path with my book I'm writing? I get yes. I mean, the advice is going to feel pretty standard probably, but they're like, keep revamping and keep rewriting until you're happy. But you're on the right path 100%. The important part is that you're actually writing it, and that's where the magic happens, is what they're talking about. Because it's like, it does matter, but it's like by the time you finish writing it, it's going to be perfect, because you care and you give a, I don't think I can swear on the lives, but you give a heck. Shannon, is my position at work safe? I get yes. But keep showing up and do your best. It'll be safe as long as you keep showing up and doing what you can, is what they're talking about. So I hope that helps. Who was I doing a reading for? Whoever I was talking to. I got distracted by all the questions. Okay, so hope that helps. Oh yeah, you're on the right track with your book. That's right. Me, myself, and Sarah J. Writing or Reiki, both. Both. If you can. If you had to do one after the other, maybe tackle Reiki first and then do writing. But I would do both, Sarah. I'm guessing that's, are you Sarah Jean as my lover? Because you're, yes, okay. That's Sarah. You're welcome. Okay, next question, Q&A. Brandon, have you had water lately? I will in just a second here. Thank you so much, Bree. Oh, thanks, Sarah. I try. Can we do a water reminder? Water reminder, everyone. Water reminder. Yeah, water time. Very nice. Should I do a live where I, my guide's already saying no, but for some reason I have this idea that pops into my head where I do a live, but I drink for it, which is funny. Like, channel mode and drinking is really fun because my guides will, there's just, it's almost like the channeling gets really good actually. It's not, it doesn't make it bad. It just, but it might be fun to do one day, but I don't know. I might not actually even do it. For some reason I wanted to say it. Larissa asked, do I have any spiritual gifts? Yes, 100%. I get you can channel. You might even gravitate towards mediumship if you wanted to, which those are kind of one and the same. They're very, very similar faculties. I don't want to say they're exactly the same, but to me it shows up very similarly, if not the same. Any other things for you? Definitely clairsentience, feeling energies. They're showing clairvoyance as well, like intuitive visuals. Like you can definitely do a whole bunch of stuff. The trick is like for you is kind of like getting on the ball and practicing it. Like I would definitely start pulling cards for yourself every day. I'd start setting the intention to expand your gifts. Because like for you, what they're talking about is slowly expanding into it. That would help you, because it's like sometimes it gets overwhelming, like what do I focus on at once. It's kind of like as you get going, a lot of it will all evolve at once. So I'd pick one thing you're drawn to that would help you with your gifts and do it, whether that's energy work or just pulling cards or whatever you feel drawn to. But yes, the answer is yes. It's just putting it into practice is what they're talking about for you. Hope that helps, Larissa. Mm-hmm. Nicole Gilbertson for asked, is my love life going in the right direction? I get yes. There's still a few more, I guess, transformations is the key word today for love life, is what they're bringing through. Because they're talking about there's a few more transformations, but it's more for you specifically, where it's like you might think someone's the one and then they're not, but then someone else shows up, and but it's like, let's see. I kind of get you, and if you're seeing someone, this doesn't mean just like break it off with them. I'd let them kind of show you, let it evolve as it will. But I do see you have better people coming, is what they're talking about. And don't throw in the towel, is what they're talking about as well either. But you're kind of changing, and you need someone who's going to change with you, is what they're talking about. Is kind of something they're talking about. It's like overall it's in the right direction, but it's transforming. Does that make sense? Because you're not going to be the same person in a year, and you need someone who can keep up with that. That's something they're talking about. But I'm going to pull a card because I feel like, yeah. Honestly, like I would also stand in your power and not let people take you for a ride, is some of the advice that's coming through with the Queen of Cups. And I feel like I want to bring in something in more specific for you as well, if I can. Like I feel like you have someone coming, like who can like really help you through your emotions or with your emotions, if that makes sense. Like help you through things is what I'm getting. And someone who understands you and doesn't discount you, and just also try not to let yourself get taken for a ride is what they're talking about as well. Let's see. Anyone who like comes along that like excites you in a good way, that of course without any major red flags, I wouldn't be afraid to take a leap towards them as well either. So I hope that helps. So it's like yes, but it's not going to be the same as it is now, is what I'd say, Nicole. Hope that helps. Hope that wasn't confusing. I felt that was a little all over the place, but I'm gonna go to the next question. Extra small popsicle asks why. That makes total sense. Perfect, Nicole. Glad that makes sense. Glad that helped. Extra small popsicle says, why do I feel so depressed lately? Can't leave bed. They're really showing me your don't freak out. They're really showing me your solar plexus. I would try to do some work on your solar plexus is what I'd first and foremost try. Let's see if there's anything. Let me see if they give me the specific words here, because I feel like I see it. Like one thing that happens, like sometimes when you're shifting, and don't stay depressed, is what they're saying, but like you're kind of shifting some underlying patterns, and sometimes there's a bit of like a phase that can be depressive while you're doing that. And I'm not saying for anyone listening you have to go through that to shift. That's not what I mean. But when it shows up, try not to judge it or get down on yourself. like there's like they're kind of giving these messages like getting over certain things. So like sometimes things can catch up to you a bit later, and you're like, why am I depressed? That's kind of what's happening a little bit, as well as what they're talking about. But I'd look into like either like a solar plexus meditation or getting some energy work done, as well as maybe your root chakra as well. That one's not as bad as what they're talking about. And none of this is meant to like stick you, of course. It's more just to give you a starting point to start with some of the healing, so you can get to some of the underlying issues, so you can kind of get out of the depressive phase, is what they're talking about. One thing that has kind of helped me, never mind. There was one thing I'd read and like researched about depression that I was going to talk about, but my guys are like, that might not help her as much. I might just say it really quickly in case it helps someone else. But like there was one thing I was looking up, and I don't know if it was called like the depression path or something like that, but they talked about like sometimes with depression it can be caused when in your dream state, like you're not processing, you either have too much emotion to process, or like you're not processing all your emotion in your dream state. So in your dream state, you're not getting as rested because your body's using your dream state to process all the emotions. So when you don't get enough rest because your body's processing all the emotions at night, what happens is that you start to get depressed because you're not getting the rest you need, and you still have more emotions happening. So it's like the best you can do to settle your emotions during the day so that your dream state can catch up is what that research purported. That can help to get you out of depression. Is just kind of like, okay, let's try to like settle things and keep things calm within me during this time period, and not try to do things that get me over emotional. And then like, and of course if things come up, they come up, like you can't always help that. And then like the dream state will help you to process that. There's also something that's popping into my mind as well. So in the book Energy Speaks by Lee Harris, they're kind of jumping this in and they're kind of getting excited for me to talk about it. And I might have mentioned this on a previous live, but what he talks about is before sleep, talking about sleep again, what you can do is two things. You can set the intention to work through anything you're going through. And when you consciously set the intention to work through that thing before sleep, what he channeled through for that book, An Energy Speaks, which is actually kind of a, I guess you could say a compilation of a lot of channels he's done over the years. But what he brought through when he channeled was you set that intention to work through something before sleep, and you'll move through it at a rate that's like multiples faster than if you didn't set anything. I think it was like 3, was it? I don't think it was 10 times. I think it was like 3+ times faster that you'd work through an issue. So you might find yourself like, okay, I asked to process through this depression. Thank you so much. May this be supported with ease and grace, and angelically, and in whatever ways would be for the highest good. And also, you can also set an intention before sleep. Like I asked for whatever energetic remedies would be for my highest good for the day, and just in general, thanks so much. And so you're kind of asking source and the universe to, one, send you the energy work you need while you sleep. Two, you're kind of giving yourself permission to receive whatever you need from source in the dream state. And you're going to start doing that work both in like getting the energetic remedies from source, and two, like you're just going to be processing through things faster. So that's something else that I wanted that they kind of showed me that might be helpful. And maybe getting that book would help in some other ways, but specifically that exercise is something they really like wanted me to talk to you about regarding what you're going through. So I hope that helps. Extra small popsicle. Anything else that would help you? I get those are really good starting points. And it's not a forever thing is what they're talking about as well, the depression. It is going to shift for you, so I hope that helps. Sophia's asks, will I complete my mission and soul's calling? They're like, yes, 100%. They're giving me the message like you can't mess it up. There's a lot more divine guidance and spurring around those things in your life than sometimes people realize is what they want to talk about. And sometimes you have and maybe this has been your experience, you have a year, and it's like you didn't do much, and you're like, am I ever going to do this? But it's like, yeah, you are. It doesn't mean that things won't turn around for you next month or next year or over the course of the next several years. It's like suddenly you're really on the ball and everything's like right where you want it to be and you really feel on it. But yes, 100% is what they're talking about. Coco Evangelia, has someone hexed or cursed me or done magic on me? I get no hex. I don't get anything blatant, honestly, regarding all that. One thing you could say is just, return to sender as love, light, and blessings. And may the healing occur so that whoever did this no longer does that. One thing they're talking about is like you are divinely protected and you don't have to worry so much. You all are, honestly. I think sometimes, let's see what they want to say about it. Sometimes if you give power away to those things, that's where the trouble lies, if that makes sense. But if you stand in your power, if you need to set intentions, do that. If you stand in your power and let's see what they want to say. If you cultivate a reality where you are divinely protected and you don't need to worry about those things, that's more of what shows up, honestly, is what I get. Thanks, Kaizen Mafi. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering that name, but thank you. But that's kind of what I get. Hey, Be Divine, good to see you. Bella, are you still going to upload last week's Q&A to YouTube? Yes, I'm going to do that today. I'm so sorry. I realized this week I hadn't done that. But I hope that helps, whoever I was answering. I'm so sorry. Oh, it was Coco Evangelia. Hope that helps. Back to the Q&A. Okay. JDubs, though, asked... reminded me of Buffalo Wild Wings, like B-dubs. People call it B-dubs. And then I was like, why does that sound good? I think I need to eat. I'm not a huge wings person, but I used to be. Is music, writing, singing my calling? Part of your calling. Music, for sure, yes. Let's see. There's more for you than just those, and that's something to keep in mind, because you're kind of multifaceted and multi-talented. There's more for you than just one thing, and that I understand that, because I do music. I did music for like 10 years. Then I got into like energy work and channeling, and who knows what would be, what else will come up in the future that I get really into. Probably this and other stuff when I'm already doing another stuff. But I would not quit on those, but I would also be like, okay, what else is for me that really fits with this and I can incorporate in my life without missing out on what I'm here to do with these things, is what they're talking about. Definitely don't give up on music, writing, or singing is what they're talking about. Especially music. They're really circling and highlighting music for me. As I look at the word in my mind's eye, they're drawing a circle around it. So anything else for you? And like one thing they're talking about is like it's music, but it's also the question, how are you shifting others through music is one thing they're talking about. It's like, how is your music helping others? That's one thing they really want to point out to you, is something that draws to you about it. And some of it's primal and just inherent, and like you're definitely wired for music. And part of it's like, what impact are you having with the music you create is something they're talking about as well. And how does it help people release certain emotions? So I'd look into that as well. Excuse me. Alondra Sanchez 802 asked, is my current partner my soulmate? I get one of many. Definitely leans towards soulmates. For me, my definition of soulmate, just so we're on the same page, people is someone we've had past lives with, essentially, is a soulmate. So you can have multiple. Could be your dad, could be your brother, could be a lover, could be a friend. It could be a pet, sometimes even too. But that's something they want to say as well. Kamiko, okay, I'm going to get back to the Q&A, but I'm hanging with chat for a second. Belle, why am I so unlucky in love? You're learning what you need is the first thing they're talking about. Let's see what they talk about. They're giving this this message as well. It's like, I would do your best to upshift your vibration and you'll start to attract difference. Excuse me. Sneezy time. Oh no. I had a friend tell me I was coming down with a cold. An intuitive friend say I was coming down with a cold, so I might be coming down with a cold. Yeah, that's what they're. Thanks, Destiny. Thanks, it's Stella. I appreciate that, guys. You guys rock. I love you guys. So I was answering Bell. Yeah, as you get your vibration up, you're going to start attracting better and love. Also, just like, if anyone that you start dating reminds you of like a red flag from the past, listen to that is what they're talking about. Because you're going to start getting more green flags is what they're showing me. But it's like, I would go within and be like, okay, what can I change in myself so I start attracting different or start choosing different? And that's going to be, I think, where you find the core of that. It's not unlucky. It's shifting certain patterns and let's see. What draws you to be attracted to some of the things you're attracted to? And is that really what you want? Is something that they want you to ask yourself and sit with as well, is what they're talking about. Because some of the root of it is your choices, and I'm not trying to call you out, but it's just something to look at and like, okay, what can I do a little bit differently here? And guys, if you ever want to just, this isn't the root of your issue, but I want to talk about it because you talked about luck. But if you want to just get more luck going, maybe I'll do a guided meditation on luck. But the best way I've heard it described that really resonated with me is like luck is an energy. And you can, if you want more luck, you can just get that energy going. You can ask for more luck. You can, and like a mantra you could use would be like, even if you're just like, I am lucky, and you just write that down every day, or set intentions to bring luck in. But one mantra I like, I walk in luck, I walk in light, I walk in luck, I walk in light. Might be a good one just to say. So I think that would be cool. Guided meditation would be great. Yeah, I'll see what they want to do. So I hope that helps. But maybe a combination of getting more luck energy going and looking at some of those patterns would be good too. Julianne Jane, confused about career job stuff. Any guidance? I would... They're talking about making a change. I would say it's going to be different than what you've done before, is more like the ideal path is what they're talking about. I don't know if this is what you're gravitating towards. They're showing me massage therapy. I'm not saying that's it and what you have to do, but that's something they're showing me really quickly. But I would look at something that's like holistic, actually, something that speaks to you on a personal level and isn't just about the money. Because they're saying the money will kind of take care of itself once you kind of get going on a... Because you're going to have to find that happy medium of pays well and it speaks to you. That's something they're talking about for sure as far as like a career or job. Like if you need something in the meantime that's temporary, yeah, just ask the universe for the highest and best thing for you in the meantime and go for it. But let me see what else they want to bring through about that dragon card. I definitely see you shifting your job, like the golden, silver, violet, flame dragon coming out again. It's time for transmutation, magic, and healing. Offer service under grace. Transmutes the world around you with wisdom and grace. I do see you finding something new, honestly. That's what I would go for. I would not necessarily go back to the old, or I would definitely not stay stuck. And they're also saying you're not stuck. But two of the things that jump out at me with this card: offer service under grace. Somewhere you're being of service in a way that speaks to your soul is going to be important. Anything else for you? Because I hope this is helpful. But I would definitely try to find something new, something holistic, something of service. It doesn't have to be healing for you. Maybe that's something you gravitate towards. And some people are definitely like, yeah, you should be doing something healing. Like, that's something you're born to do. For you, I feel like two areas that really jump out for me whenever I talk about career are healing and wisdom. Are two, like, because it's like teaching or healing, and that kind of goes back to that. Some people talk about, people being teachers or healers. I think you can absolutely be both. I don't see why you have to choose one or the other. But for you, anywhere you're helping people transform through wisdom might be something I'd look into as a job long term. But of course, if you need to make money, so if you have to be an insurance agent temporarily, like, that's fine. Like, that's totally fine. Let's see, anything else for you? I don't know. They just keep saying holistic service, so I hope that helps, Julian. All right. Be Divine, it's good to see you, by the way. I already answered that. Katine asked, okay. Catherine asks, what do my guides want me to know? So what does Catherine guides want her to know? They really like the word victory, but Chariot popping out here, headed in the right direction is what they're talking about. It might feel like you're going in circles, but you're not. The way they're showing it is they're giving me a bird's eye view of the Chariot, and it seems like it's going in circles, but it's actually like going out in like a spiral and going out further with each circle. So it's like you're actually not chasing your tail. What you're doing is, like, in some ways maybe you're rehashing, but you're revisiting certain past experiences from a higher perspective to gain new knowledge and move forward in a different way. And eventually this spiral turns into a straight line. Sometimes you just need to go through certain things multiple times to get the lesson and start to move forward in a new way is what they're talking about. But you're definitely heading away from the old. The Chariot on the card is moving away from this big old city in the background. But it's also very divinely guided is something they're talking about as well. Like, he has the star up on his helmet. He has a lot of magic with the moons on his shoulder plates here. And you know what? There's also other symbolism on here. Like, there's being stability with the square, with the four sides and the four corners. There's stability with the balance, and balance with the top looking thing. I don't think that's supposed to be a top, but it looks like a top. So to me, that's a top. There's also Archangel Raphael on this Chariot is what they're talking about, kind of guiding you. But the Sphinx is, like, there's no reins on the Sphinxes. The Chariot's just kind of going where it needs to go. Is a way that I see this read that I like. So it also talks about just like letting the universe take you to where you need to go. The other thing to consider with this card, what else? It's kind of a combination of all your tools is what they talk about with the Chariot. Because it's like you have like the wand from like the Magician card in his hand. He has the moon from the moon card and the star from the star card. And he's armored up, he's prepared, he's ready. So it's like, it's kind of like you have all you need, just move forward is one of the other messages that comes through for you with this card as well. They're also giving me the message of traversing obstacles is something they're saying. Like, they're kind of giving me the visual of the Chariot traversing obstacles and giving me the words traversing obstacles. You're gonna have more ease in like getting through challenges in the near future is what they're talking about, and in the future in general. Because you've seen enough to know how to be potentially stoic through challenges and to kind of ride through unfazed or more unfazed. Three of Wands also popping out for you, Katine. And the message I get is don't wait. Because in the Three of Wands, he's waiting for his ships to come in. And that's fine. They will. But it's kind of like letting the chariot lead you forward instead of sitting around and waiting. Like, it's almost like just because the chariot is moving in spirals doesn't mean don't get on the chariot, because it's going through things that are progressing you forward internally, even if you don't feel like you're moving forward in all the ways you want to be moving forward. But you're kind of have to go get your ships, is what they're talking about. Like, he's waiting for the ships. He kind of needs to go down to the water and flag him down. And like, he might even need to swim out and like get one of his ships. So I would be a go-getter, honestly. I would take action towards your dreams and goals as well, Catherine. And really like, be like, what can I do today to make... The quote that comes to me is like from it's this modality called Access Consciousness. And it's like, what can I do today to make this a reality right away, or something like that. And it's part of how they talk about with like creation and I guess what you would call manifestation or actualization. One of the steps they talk about is taking action. And that's Hanged Man coming out as well, which is also like a card of waiting. And I get the words "don't wait" once again for you with that. It's like you're ready, like, because the Hanged Man has gained enlightenment. He's all glowy and stuff down there. He kind of puts himself in Hangman mode to get enlightenment. So I get you're ready, and don't wait. And any endings as well. It will. Ten of Swords here. The ending is not the end, is something they're talking about. Don't worry, Nine of Swords right behind it. If you find yourself in a Tens of Swords energy, which is almost like dead, done, over with is one way I've heard it said, but you could think of like a breakup that's never getting back together, that's Ten of Swords, or feeling defeated, or like it could be anything like that. The ending is not the end. Sometimes it's like, it's not literally like you have 10 swords in your back. 10 of Swords is not a fun card, but essentially like it does open you up for the new. It's an ending, and so you're ready for that rebirth, or for that new beginning, or for that phoenix energy that where you rise from the ashes. And it's like you're not dead, you're just learning, is one of the messages I'm getting. So anything else? I would be discerning as well. This is the because they said one more when I asked if there was anything else. I would be discerning, and just don't let just anyone back into your life, is what they're talking about. That's the last thing I want to say. So I hope that helps. Hope that brought you some of the messages you need, and I will move on to the next question now. Okay. Ooh. World is my oyster asked, am I meant to be with a guy or a girl in this life? So if you're into both, I would honestly, if you haven't already, taste both. They're really leaning more towards girl, honestly, for you. But there's nothing wrong with either. Honestly, like that's what I'm getting. I would also, as advice, I would leave it open and let the universe show you. Because either would be fulfilling, but for whatever reason, they're leaning more towards girl. But I don't think, I honestly, I haven't really checked in with what your gender is. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you have the best option for you that makes the most sense for you, and is, what would be best for you in your life. But I don't know, if there's one you prefer over the other, there's nothing wrong with that either. I would definitely lean in that direction. But that's what I'm getting. I hope that helps. Next question. Oh, okay. Love reading for Trish Moore, 22. Woo. So the first card coming out is the Hierophant. Hierophant, to me, oftentimes talks about being traditional. This definitely leans towards a marriage for me, and they're saying to go traditional. Like I wouldn't be out there dating 20 people. I'd be trying to find the one or two and narrowing it down from there. I say I get you have new love coming in, is what they're talking about. It's not going to be the same old, because the old's kind of done, is what they're talking about. But I would pay attention to like new people coming in, people who court you the old romantic way, is what they're talking about with this card. But that's kind of what I'm seeing with that for you, Trish Moore. You're not going to be alone is something they're talking about, because I did just check in with that. You have a lot of aces like I'm just kind of flipping through these cards, like death is popping out. I let go is honestly the words I get with death coming out. The Ace of Swords kind of fell out of the card deck as well as I was pulling it. And then we had the Ace of Wands popping out as well as I'm sorting through this. And so with the death card, it's kind of like let go. And it's almost like the visual they're showing me is like you're clinging to something. Like sometimes you're clinging to a ledge. And this could be like a love interest or someone you've been with in the past. Which one is it? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go with the analogy and the visual they're showing me. Sometimes you cling to a ledge and you think this is your salvation and this will save you. But if you let go of the ledge or whatever you're clinging to, it's kind of like there's land 2 feet beneath you that you'll land on, and it wasn't so hard of a fall as you thought. It's actually an easy landing. And then it's kind of like as you let go, everything you want shows up is what they're showing me. Because it's like when you're up hanging from a ledge, it's kind of hard for people to like approach you. And love is what they're talking. It's the weirdest visual, guys. But when you let go of the ledge, you're on the ground and like people can come to you is what they're talking about. Like they're kind of giving this message of like let go of having it be a certain way. There's also, probably because of my fingerprint, or I don't know if I got an essential oil on this card, but there's actually a rainbow, and it's not supposed to be a rainbow. I don't know if you can see it from your camera angle, but on this horse's neck, you can kind of see it. And that's synchronistic for you, because that definitely signifies like hope. That signifies new beginning. That could even signify God's promise. I definitely see like a revamp and an upshift in love is what they're talking about. So with Ace of Wands and Ace of Swords, that's new beginning. It's also usually, as a lot of readers read it, that's a yes to any question you're asking. So anything else? I get this message of go with passion over logic, and love is what they're talking about as well, Trish Moore, with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands coming out here. For some reason I get like if you're going with your passion and your heart, it's going to go better. Sometimes that's not the advice, but for you that is the advice. Try not to logic your way out of a decent connection is what they're talking about. I would also, Eight of Wands is about it's about communication. If you haven't put yourself out there on any dating sites, I would. There's definitely more communication and love coming for you soon is what I get. Let's see. I get you're going to have love pretty soon here if you don't already have anyone in mind. With Eight of Cups, definitely I'd walk away from anyone who's either previously been with you, or if there's anyone that's current with you that's just not cutting it, you're actually going to get wish fulfillment, Eight of Cups to Nine of Cups, by walking away. That's what they're talking about in the long term. So hope that helps. Hope that covered it and gave you some of the messages you needed. Whew, okay, I need 2 seconds here. You're welcome, Trish. Hope that made sense. Ooh. Let's see. I'm going to do a collective reading too in a second here for everyone. That's something I feel called to do. Maybe a channel. Maybe they'll go full channel mode as well. For some reason that's something they're talking about. Okay. Excuse me. I need to burp, but I'm not burping. You ever have a burp, but it doesn't burp? And you're just like, what do I do with this? Okay, hopefully I say this right. Mrs. Precision, I think that's right, asks, what are my gifts, please and thank you? Definitely feeling energies, clairsentience. I get this is like not necessarily like metaphysical gifts, but I get you're good at changing people's minds. You can be pretty persuasive is what they're talking about as well. And that's a good thing. And they're like, don't use that for your advantage, use that for the advantage of the highest good. I'm like, okay, I think you already try that, honestly, with that's something they're talking about. You're definitely very intuitive. I get more, it leans towards clairsentient and clairaudient, honestly, like hearing your guides, or that's something you can do, but also feeling energies. I would start there and let it expand. You're never really limited to the clairs I get, honestly. It's more just like, where are my strengths now? And then, like, as I develop those, what will it take to develop the rest of it, is kind of what I'm getting, if you want to. Because I think, like, honestly, leaning into your strengths can be the answer. Because it's like, do you need one or the other? If, like, the one you're really good with is so strong that you just get all the messages that way. But I honestly, for me, it's definitely, there's nothing wrong with expanding into all of it. Anyways, if you want to, for me, as I went about my journey, it all just expanded, honestly. And it all kind of, I don't know if you want to say rounded out, but it all kind of connects in with, each kind of clair connects in with the other clair. It all connects in. But if you want to develop your gifts, I would focus on one that really calls out to you, and then just drive forward. And for some reason, like for me, my gifts took off as my channeling took off, excuse me. I noticed, like, it all kind of ramped up as my channeling ramped up, like everything. So you might even find, like, you just find one thing and just go towards it and everything ramps up. I don't know why I want to say that, but anything else for you, Mrs. Precision? Because there's more, but I get those would be your strong suits starting out. Again, and I'd recommend this for a lot of different people, but it's coming through, so I'm going to say it. I would look into energy work, one, because of the clairsentience, two, it does help you expand your gifts, like things like Reiki or other modalities can definitely help, because that energy, Reiki, it just opens up light and gifts, and it opens you up in general, and it improves your intuition and psychic abilities, or whatever you want to call it. Two and three is like, it gives you practice with those things when you're doing sessions for yourself or others. So you kind of get a double whammy where it opens you up more and you're getting practice with doing that energy work. So hope that helps. I'll bring that advice through again and again if I have to. Okay. I'm going to do one more and then probably do a collective reading, and then we'll see where they want to go from there. Emmy Drake, Australia. Emmy, is my dad watching over me? I get yes, constantly. I get he's very protective. He helps you with a lot of things, especially anything where you're building. And that could be literal, like when you're building, like a bookshelf or something. Or that could also just be like more of a, not metaphor, but if you're building a relationship or you're building a career, like he could be helping you with that. But that's something they're kind of showing him helping you with. But yeah, he definitely is watching over you 100%. And you know, some people, it really depends on what they need. Like I'll get like, yeah, they're there time to time, or they check in. For you, it just seems like it's more all the time. It's very consistent. That's what they're talking about. And it's not in a bad way either. It's definitely in like a daddy's little girl kind of way, is what they're talking about. So hope that makes sense and helps. Of course that would make sense. That is a habit that I'm not sure if I should keep going with, but I guess I just like to clarify and make sure everything made sense when I bring through messages. Kenna acting. I am taking a semester off of school, right choice? Yeah. It's almost like there's no wrong choice in that scenario. But that's definitely the better of the two for you, between the two. It's not like either one's wrong, but there was kind of like a path that was better and a path that wasn't. And I think that one was you doing better, taking that semester off. I think you kind of need that. I'm going to do a quick collective reading. It might not be quick. It will click, but it won't be quick. It might not be quick. Words, guys. Words in the morning. So let's see what they want to bring through. I'm just going to do a quick collective reading for everyone who sees this. You know, it's going to be general, so take it as it resonates. So let's see what they want to bring through. Do they want to go full channel mode yet? No. We're going to start with tarot cards and just flow with the messages coming through. And then if they want to go into more of a channel mode, we'll do that. Ah, that's funny. Hanged Man popping out again. And all my angel cards just fell, so I'll jump into those next, I guess. Give me a second here. So Hangman, what's the message with this? I mean, the first thing I'm hearing, and it's not a forever thing, but they're saying go within, and it's contrary to what came through for one of the previous readings, or it was like, don't wait. For this one, I kind of get like, it might be helpful to like not rush into things, to kind of get clarity before you really take action on things. Because we're kind of getting into this phase here collectively. This might even be the world over for this message, where like things are just like unfolding. But it's like the way things unfold, it's almost, they're showing me origami. Like it looks like it's going to unfold this way, but that unfolds that way. And you're like, and they're also showing it as like a flower petal, like a flower blossoming. And like it looks like it's going to open this way. It's going to like open straight out, but all the petals open in like a weird pattern. And that's one reason not to rush it, is like you don't necessarily know the collective plan that Source is putting into place. And you might think like, oh, I need to do this thing, but it's like, okay, that was part of it. But actually there was this thing over here that you were supposed to kind of like add in with this thing and combine the two. So you're not going to make it the wrong choice, but actually, weirdly enough, like being in hanged man mode to gain enlightenment might not be a bad idea collectively. I get there's 4 of Pentacles upside down. I don't normally I usually have all my cards right side up in the deck, but it came out reversed. It's almost like you're getting shaken loose is what they're talking about and showing me. It kind of reminds me of like, when someone gets shaken in a cartoon, they get shaken for their lunch money. It's not exactly what's happening. But it's more like you're getting just getting things that are not right knocked loose is what they're talking about. I hate that card, pull it all the time. Yeah, I hear that. But I get this message like you're starting to loosen up as well, is what they're talking about. Obviously, I would not be holding tight to things. But with this in particular, it's more like, it's more a message of what's going on. Like the universe is kind of shaking things up. So if you feel like you're getting shaken up, not a bad thing. It's almost like how you would, there's certain things you want to shake before you have them, like orange juice. Like I would definitely shake. It's like shake before serving. And that's kind of like it's like how glow sticks get cracked before they glow. That's not the analogy. I'm not saying you're going to get cracked here, but I am saying you're getting prepared to shine. And sometimes that looks like you're getting shaken before the glowing happens, is one thing they're talking about with that message. And these cards do kind of interplay with each other. Part of the patience reason is this, where it's like you're just kind of getting things shaken loose. Things that don't belong with you are getting shaken loose. And if you've been paying attention to the patterns around you, I know what I've seen, and they kind of want me to talk to this as well. It's just like relationships transforming, dynamics transforming. Like people might have come together in a group and now they're all getting shot in their own directions, or it's just like certain people fall off and then like these 2 people that were in the group, kind of like the way they work kind of shifts. So I'm seeing a lot of like the dynamic shift. It's all part of the plan, and it's all part of an intricate pattern that the universe is weaving with the tapestry of life energetically, whereas everyone kind of gets tuned up, the patterns that occur shift. And it kind of reminds me of like the sands on a plate thing, where if you've ever seen like those plates and they play really high frequencies through the plates, and like the plate vibrates at certain frequencies, and then as they raise it, like there's these patterns of sand, and it will hit a certain frequency and it'll shift, and it'll hit a certain frequency and it'll shift. And that's not exactly what's happening. It's a bit more flowy, but it's kind of what's happening, where as things are shifting, it's like you're getting everything you need in this pattern and dynamic, and then it shifts. And you're getting everything you need in this pattern and dynamic, and it shifts. And at a certain point, it does kind of, I don't want to say it holds pattern, but there is a bit more glue to it, where things don't just like fall apart so suddenly because it wasn't perfect. It's more like part of the building phase it's almost like a sculpture. Like the collective is being chiseled in a way where, what's that? I think it's Michelangelo writes quote, and I'm sorry if I don't remember my Renaissance people, but it's like he's just trying to, it's pretty much you're moving everything away that isn't the sculpture. It's like the sculpture's already there, you're just removing the stone that's not that. That's kind of what's happening for you guys in your lives, is for all of us, honestly, is like the things that aren't us, the things that aren't part of the sculpture that's meant to be, are being removed. And sometimes it feels like someone chisels a block of granite, metaphorically, off of our arm, and we're like, oh, we're losing our arm, but you're not losing your arm. You're actually gaining your arm and gaining freedom from the encasement that held you back, interestingly enough. So I wouldn't look at any losses as, I mean, you have to grieve it, but I wouldn't look at losses as losses. I'd look at it as being set free and being formed and shaped into who you're meant to be. The other thing coming out is like King of Pentacles. I do see stability on the rise for people. And like part of what's been going on is people have been shifting so much, it seemed unstable. The way they're showing it to me is more of like, as an analogy, and bear with me as I explain this, is like a lazy Susan on top of a table. So the lazy Susan isn't necessarily stable because it's always spinning around, but it's on a stable surface. And that's kind of what they showed me, is like things haven't seemed stable because they've been shifting, and it's maybe even been a little bit earthquakey. But like it's been on a stable surface provided by spirit this whole time, is what they're talking about. And that's with the King of Pentacles. I do see entrepreneurship on a rise with this group as well. I would not be afraid to start your own endeavor. Let's see. For a lot of people, things are shifting that way. Like they're giving the message like gig economy. That might shift to be more of an entrepreneur economy, interestingly enough, is something that they're talking about. I do see like it's just getting easier to open up your own practices, to learn the information you need to start a new career or open a business. And it's probably only going to get easier. And there's going to be more ways to make money coming in the future. This might be this might not be tomorrow. This might be like the next couple of years, honestly. But any of you who feels like you have an entrepreneur bone in your body, I would be very... I'd keep your eyes on those opportunities for like, how can I start my own thing? I kind of see jobs getting less satisfying for this group, interestingly enough. If that doesn't resonate for you, that's perfect. This is for those of you who feel like, yeah, I've been wanting to start my own thing. That calling's probably only going to get stronger. I get this is what's lifting with the Moon card, general confusion and anxiety. I think with that King of Pentacles that came out, with more stability coming in, the anxiety kind of lifts because it's like, okay, I feel like I'm on solid ground. I feel like I have stable circumstances. A message that comes out with the Moon card, is keep going. Let's see if they have any specific messages on that. Like anything you want to do, keep going. Like it's just not a good time to quit. And it might seem like topsy-turvy and like that Four of Pentacles upside down. Just don't quit. It's honestly like, don't quit before the miracle occurs, is kind of the message as well. Because at the end of this path, like one, there won't always be a moon. Eventually the sun does come up. The other thing to keep in mind is that like spirit is all of it. So even if it seems confusing, I would trust that your path is guided by spirit. And spirit is never confused by the dark. If you ever feel like you're in a phase that seems dark, spirit always knows what the path is, and spirit can always provide the lantern or the light that you need to get you to the next phase before the sun comes up. So that's something they want to remind you of as well, as any like moon phases are temporary. And I do see this kind of being what people are venturing out of, especially December. It is post-Mercury in retrograde. I would say things settle down in January, which does make sense just because I keep getting January and 2022 are the start of a new phase. I keep getting a lot of like the rest of this year is wrapping up some old phases so that you're ready for the new phase, which makes sense with a lot of what we talked about with the dynamic shifting as well. I also get this message not going to be heartbroken in general. Does that mean like everyone's not going to be heartbroken here? It might come in, but I just get it's not so bad, honestly. I think people are starting to see a bit through some of the stories, some of the collective, I guess you could say, rhetoric around heartbreak. It's kind of like where things might have seemed like they were the end of the world, they're not the end of the world. And I think people are starting to realize, like, people are starting to heal and move through these things faster. Like, it might have taken a week before for certain things, but now it only takes a day. So that's something to keep in mind, is like not to be afraid to put yourself out there, because like the healing is faster than ever before. And so like recovery from heartbreak can be faster. And they want me to give an example, but like for instance, in my personal life, there was one thing I was kind of going through with one girl a while ago, and it was really interesting because like when it didn't work out, it was like the heartbreak, like it hurt, like it physically hurt, but it was like for a day, and then I was okay. I was like, oh my god, it was like for a day. I was like, this sucks, like, but then like it passed, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. So that's something they're talking about with like healing movement. It doesn't have to always hurt physically, by the way. But I also get Empress status coming in. That's glow up energy. It's also like divine feminine coming in more strongly as well, is what they're talking about. I just see more balance between like masculine and feminine energies, but it's not like where one is going after the other. It's more of like a harmonious, I know marriage gets a bad rap as a word sometimes, but marriage between the two, it's also like a meeting of the heart and the mind, and just it's more of like an intuitive way of being is coming in. That's kind of what the collective has been ramping up towards over the past, I wouldn't say year or so, probably longer, honestly, but definitely the past year. It's just like a more of like a congruency between the heart and the mind and the soul, and I guess the stomach as well. That's like kind of the third mind. You could say there are like, I guess you could say brain. I can't remember if it's neurons or brain cells in the stomach, but there's that. They have that in the brain, the heart, and the stomach. But there's just gonna be more congruency between like the mind and intuition, where it's seamless. It's not so conflicting, is what they're talking about as well for the collective here. I do get your harvest is coming as well, which makes sense. We're in the autumn, but they're kind of pointing my eyes down here to like, I don't know what this is in the traditional water weight, but it looks like grass or maybe even wheat for the purposes of this reading and what they're showing me. So I do get your harvest is coming in, where it's like you feel like your efforts pay off is what is coming through for everyone here, which is good. What's the next card here? I'll show it really quickly. Death wanting to come out again here as well. It's funny because on the background of death, there is the pillars from the moon with the sun coming up. And that's more of what I saw coming in as well. I would also try to stay away from religion. Random message for maybe a couple of you. Because there's this like bishop guy here. I don't know why he's pleading with death. But you don't need it, is what they're talking. If it serves its purpose, like okay, but I kind of get like, I don't know if you guys really need it so much. It's like not as of service as it used to be, especially as more people wake up. You don't need rules to live your life by. You need actual spiritual connection, is what they're talking about. So that's just something they're talking about for this group for whatever reason. What else was to come through? Okay, we're using this deck. Honestly, this card liking to come out, manifest coming out. Yeah, death and rebirth all throughout the year. Yeah, I hear that. So I get this weird message like from the bones, you're creating your new reality, which makes sense because there's like this skull with all this crystal stuff around it. Now is the time to begin like creating a new life, asking for what you dream of. And, you know, like certain things are going to fall away anyways, is what they're talking about. So don't feel like you need to cling to things so much that you can't ask for something new out of fear of losing what you have. Like a lot of what you have now is going to change. And I'm not saying it's going to get worse. I'm not saying you're going to lose everything. What I am saying is don't get attached to things that are probably going to change anyways. We all grow old and potentially die. Potentially. You know, physically, the body tends to grow older and die. I don't think you'll disagree with me. So that's kind of what they're talking about. Is like, don't cling to things that are impermanent anyways. Let's create what you want to see before you pass here, is one of the messages coming through. So just a few more, and then we'll see what else they want to do next. Let's see what they just want to... Versatility. More than one thing, honestly. I remember one thing a practitioner said to me that I feel guided to say to you guys is like, things are kind of moving in a direction where we probably will be doing more than just one thing with our lives. Like we have multiple jobs. It does also like remind me of something a channeler said. Let's see. It's kind of like people are becoming more multidimensional and that's becoming more accepted. I kind of get the sense that people mean different things when they say that. To me, when I hear multidimensional, that means literal, like multi-dimensional, like higher dimensions in here. Some people, they say multidimensional and it seems to mean like what I would call multifaceted, where it's like, you know, one person could do music, but then they're also doing poetry, but then they're also a construction worker, but then they're also running an online gambling ring with crypto. I don't know. That wasn't the best example, but that was not the multidimensional I was recommending for you, but that's just what came to mind as I was talking. But it's kind of like what's coming through is like the versatility. For everyone here, I'd say you're meant for more than one thing. I would try not to get caught up on like just one thing, like one path to rule them all. And like, I am only a poet for the rest of my life and I must only live off of poetry. It'd be like, okay, poetry, great. And maybe you are making a killing on poetry and more power to you. That's awesome. But it's like, you know, you're probably going to start feeling drawn to like what the other parts of you are calling you to do. Because you're not meant to be just one way or one thing. Like you're kind of, you are a source and you are all of it. So there's going to be a lot more that wants to express itself through you than just poetry. So not that poetry is your thing, but you know what I'm saying. So I hope that makes sense. I do see more like aspects of you guys coming online is what they're talking about, where it's like you might have thought it was just one or two things, but it's 5 things, and like those passions are like sparking awake, or those interests are sparking awake, and then all of a sudden there's like more to you and for you than you ever thought. And like sometimes all you had to do is like to just take a step away from the old and it all opens up. Something they're talking about. That's it for the collective reading. I'm going to pull like an outcome card. Okay. Rose Pink Dragon prepares your heart to connect with the higher facets of the cosmic heart. Open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light. Connect with the love of the universe. The word I get is community with this. More community coming in. Where if things felt scattered before, I just see like community on a rise, honestly. Higher love coming in, whether that's in personal romantic love or in your relationships in general. I kind of see everyone stepping up to the next level for them, or next step. And it's kind of like, it's not that per se. What is it? I just see a step up, honestly. Some of it's like stepping up to the plate, but honestly, it's more like you're hitting the next level. Especially like in love, that could just be in like you have higher love frequencies with you. But I think you're going to be demanding more from the people around you. I actually think this is a good thing for this group, honestly, because it's not like you're becoming bridezilla. It's more like you're owning your worth and demanding what you're worthy of, and that starts to bring it about, as opposed to maybe you're like, oh, maybe this is as good as it gets, but it's not as good as it gets. So I do see that coming, more community and more demanding what you need from the people around you. That's it, though. I'm going to pick up my angel cards that all fell on the ground here. This card really... This card popping out here. Remember who you are. Take action when you are ready. Take action also seems to be when you're ready. Let's see, what's this about? I do get November is going to be action-oriented, or it's a good month to take action, is what I get. I think people will have come out of the slumber of Mercury in retrograde is what they're talking about. So that's something they want to talk about as well. So I hope that helped resonate as the collective messages. Barbie, no Nicole. Yeah, it was for you. It was collective, just for everyone here. Excuse me. Dead on. Awesome. Glad to hear it, Red. It's a scary but exciting time. I hear that. And it won't be so scary in the future. It's going to be different. But they're saying that every little thing is going to be all right. Bob Marley's song is something they're talking about as well. So That's something. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. My pleasure. I don't work at Chick-fil-A. My pleasure. Oh, they don't have Chick-fil-A in Europe, do they? I guess that's an American joke. Thank you so much for resonating. Perfect. I'm glad to hear it. Thanks, Heather Vibes. Perfect. I'm glad to hear it. Let's see. What do they want to do next? They're saying they want to do a channel and go full channel mode. I'll see what they want to do. To be upfront, I get a little, personally on the human side, I get a little weird because I have neighbors who can probably hear what I'm doing. Whatever, I guess. Loved your upshift meditation, by the way. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm glad. I hear that Bob Marley song in my head all the time, guys. Yeah, I'd say so. If it doesn't feel like it's coming from you, yes. Channeled music, I guess it's what people call channeled music. But I have that a lot where it's like I hear that song, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from memory. It's like they're just playing it to me, honestly. And it's interesting, like I kind of want to tell this one story. It's not the exact same, but it's similar. It's like it might sound like just more high definition per se than like when something gets stuck in your head. I don't know how to describe it, but I remember like I don't know why I want to tell this story, because I don't think it's necessarily the same thing, but they want me to tell you anyways. Maybe it'll be something that helps you guys somehow. But one of my favorite experience, not favorite, earlier on when I was just getting into this stuff, one thing that I thought was really cool that happened, because I think it was my first like big I don't know if you want to call it fortuitous, but it was like a psychic experience. I don't know what you want to call it. But I remember hearing, you know that Immigrant song from, is it Led Zeppelin? Sorry guys, I don't know my classic rock bands. But they started playing the Immigrant song, and it was, but like I heard it and it was like, whoa, it's like way more high definition than I remember ever hearing this song. Like, you know, like, cause you only hear like the old version of it. It's like, it's not remastered or anything. It's not exactly like gonna sound like a 2000s, 2010s, 2020s song. It's gonna sound like a 70s song or whatever. But like this version of it was really high definition. I'm like, what is that? Like, that's so weird. Like, I don't remember ever hearing it this high definition. But later that day, that's the day that Thor Ragnarok from the Marvel movies came out. And they opened that movie with the remastered version of that song that was high definition in the exact same way that I heard it that day. I'm like, oh my God, so cool. So I don't know why I wanted to tell that story or why they wanted me to tell that story. But that was a really funny, like, I don't know what you even want to call that experience, but it's a little bit different than that. Because it's like, for me, it'll kind of show up as similarly to how my guides will talk to me a little bit. Like for me, channeled music, like it feels like it's on my left and it's like playing kind of in my head, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from my head. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it was just a really cool experience. Led Zeppelin, thanks Poetic Justice. I don't know, maybe something like that will happen to you guys now. So I'm going to see if they want to do a channel really quickly. And would it be nice good for me to do full channel mode? I don't know. I'm going to sit with it for just a second. Give me like 5 seconds and I'll see what they end up doing. Okay. They might just do it. So just give me a couple seconds, guys, and then I'll jump into full channel mode. You'll know when that happens. I think most of you are familiar with it. And then we'll do a channel, see what they want to talk about, and then we'll see what they want to do after that. Welcome. Yes, what we would like to say is welcome to your Upshift 2021, for you are headed into the next phase, which are the eclipses coming up in November and December to prepare you for the new phase starting in January. With these eclipses, it is like you are beginning to embody your soul like never before, for year 2022 is the year of the soul, where it is almost impossible to go against the whims of the soul. This does not mean you don't have free will. It is more like your soul is operating through you. The true you is operating through you, where you will not be so conflicted by egoic desires, for you will see the truth of these things much more pointedly. You will not be so confused by the ego's desires, for you will see through them and that of others. It is almost like things are becoming more elastic. And what do we even mean like this? What do we mean by elastic? What we mean is that you begin to see through the world around you, much like you could see through a stretched elastic band. And we mean this more as a see-through elastic band, not necessarily a rubber band, which is that traditional rubber color. But you will begin to see things stretched. And some of you will experience this in a good, light, and joyful way. Some of you, this will feel, we do not want to say torturous, but it will feel like an uncomfortable stretch. For some of you have been preparing for this and are prepared for this, and some of you are in the phase where you are being prepared for your new phases ahead. So expect a stretching coming up here in the next year. But by the end of the year, it will not be so much of a torturous stretching. It will be more of a light and free stretching, much like stretching can often feel good to a being who has not stretched in a long time. Sometimes it is a great feeling when you stretch, and not necessarily a forced and painful experience like some of your gymnasts might go through when they prepare for an event and they are forced to become flexible before they are ready. That is not what the universe is going to do to you. It is more of a comfortable stretching, but there has to be discomfort before you come into things working more smoothly. There has to be discomfort in lifting weights before you gain the strength where lifting weights is no longer as uncomfortable. And that is some of the message that we want to provide for you, as well as some of the energetic encodement that is coming along with this channeled message. Don't be afraid to be uncomfortable. With these eclipses, with these new worlds coming in for each of you, and for each of you it will be a bit different. But the more you lean into the uncomfortability and get comfortable with the uncomfortable, the more these shifts begin to happen with grace and ease. And we remind you of the Four of Pentacles that has come through in your earlier collective reading. Do not cling. Do not cling to the past. Do not cling to the way things are. Do not cling to the way things will be, for life is ever shifting and evolving. And yes, you can hone in your gifts and intuition and get a very, very good idea of what is to come in the future and how things operate. At the same time, even Brandon needs to let go of certain things. Even Brandon needs to let go of things he knows he needs to let go of. So at the same time, don't get down at yourself. Don't get down on yourself if you do not feel like you don't let go, but start working on it. What does it feel like to let go with one finger when you're holding on to something very tightly? What does it feel like to loosen your grip even just a little bit? And from there, you can slowly ease into letting go instead of screaming as you would jumping off of a bridge with a bungee cord because you are not used to letting go. But even just a slow letting go, one finger at a time, testing the waters, you will realize there is nothing scary about letting go and that everything is actually very divinely supported. So when you let go, it's not like you lose everything, for you have spirit all around you guiding your path all of the time, willing to catch the things that are supposed to stay with you and bring them back along your path. Letting go is not so much a death, it is actually more of a rebirth. And you could say those things are one and the same in a sense, and you would be correct. That is one and the same. But we wish to remind you that letting go is not something that is a loss, but it is a gain in all ways. For what is for you stays with you, and what is not for you simply leaves and is replaced by something that is for you. One of the additional messages we would like to bring through regarding more particularly the eclipses coming up in November and December is that they are a climax of your year 2021, particularly the eclipse in November. You will see a great crescendo in the energies, and you may even see a revisiting of past experiences and people just to check in and see if you are ready for this new phase. And you can just simply remain unattached with who shows up and who disappears. You can greet them, but again, do not cling to anyone from the past that you were hoping would come back that does come back, because you never know when someone better will come around for you just around the corner. And we would say for all of you, there is better ahead than ever before if you will simply let go and let Spirit bring that to you. If you let things be elastic and stretched and allow yourself to see the truth and see through things, as opposed to remaining blinded by what you want or what you hope. For the truth of what will transpire will be better than what you hope. And for many of you, it will be, even if not what you wanted on an egoic level, on every level, it will be something you are pleased with overall. There will be those periods of times that you are happy with. There will be things that come in that are more aligned with your soul, as we said, and less serving the ego. And this is the way the world is going, a more intuitive direction, a more aligned direction, a more of spirit direction. And you are watching the scattering and the release of the energies not allowing this to flourish. For even people around you who you would say are not spiritual, are not working with their intuition, they are, in fact, waking up in their own ways, in the ways that are right for them, at the pace that is right for them. For it will be impossible to be on this earth and not be spiritual to some capacity in the years ahead. And we could even be saying decades, not just 2 years is what we would say, not just 2 years ahead, but decades ahead. It will be impossible not to be awake and be on this planet in the years and decades ahead. For what is needed is more of a spiritual strength to transcend some of the earthly troubles that will be coming. And we are not here to scare you, but look around you and see with things like COVID, with things like what has been going on as systems transform. Some of these things can be a bit of a struggle. Some of these things can be a bit of a stretch. And it takes a certain spiritual bent to be able to transcend some of the difficulties and see the blessing in them so you can get to the other side and see more of the rainbows and see more of the sunshine and realize it all served a great purpose. So as we channel through Brandon for you, what you are also receiving is an energetic transmission preparing you for the future, preparing you for the stretch. So the stretch is not quite so difficult for you. And that is one of the main messages we want to leave you with. Do not be afraid of the uncomfortable once again. Do not be afraid to lean into the stretch. For all will be well, and you will find yourself more flexible, more spiritual, and more capable of handling life should you lean into the uncomfortability of these times and allow them to transform you into someone who is more prepared and more able to lead both your own life and those around you as needed when the time comes. That is the message, and we hope this finds you well. With so much love. Signing off. Whew. Cool. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome, guys. Hope that was good. Thanks, Lacey, for the likes. This is Martina. Brandon, you need to let go of some things. Yeah. Let's see. What were they saying? I'm sure they'll tell me. You're welcome, guys. Yeah, I hope that was good. I wouldn't call it a drag. I'd call it an awakening. Cool. Do you feel a bit sad after that? No. Yeah, I think because they said even Brandon, he's like, oh, some things. I think that was more about, let's see if they clarify really quickly. I think part of that is like, I'm sure there's people out there who are masters of letting go. I know what they're talking about too. I know like what things I need to let go of more now that I'm thinking back on it. But it's also like, even the people that are out there who are channeling and doing this work, like they have their stuff to like let go of or work through. It's just maybe it'll be a little bit different, but that's part of that. I think it was also like, don't feel bad if you feel like you're not letting go was part of it. Letting go is hard sometimes. Yeah. Woo. Inner child work. Yeah. Yeah. Weird. I feel called to recommend this to you, Nikki Left Defense. But there's like, on YouTube, there's this, I feel a little dizzy after that channeling. There's an account called Divine White Light, and there is like a Reiki for inner child healing video on there. I thought that one was really nice. You might want to check that out if that resonates for you. Do you see what they look like when you channel them? Interestingly enough, I don't typically, like usually when I'm in full channel mode, like I definitely feel them, like they're there, they drop in, they're speaking through me. And it's like, I'll see oftentimes visuals of like what they're talking about, like as they go through it. I don't know how to describe it, but they'll show me images of them when I'm doing this, like if I'm doing delivering a message or channeling something, like sometimes they'll show, or at least images that represent them, like they'll show angels doing something, or they'll show like angels acting something out to kind of, as they're giving me the words, like I don't know, for instance, like a message that comes through is like keep trucking, which is kind of just usually means keep going, like you'll make it, like keep trucking. And sometimes like, for instance, they might, as an example, show an angel driving a semi truck, and then like the words keep trucking will appear, and then they'll say like tell them to keep trucking, something like that, if that makes sense. But when I'm full channel mode, I don't usually see them, but I'll see intuitive visuals pertaining to the message that's coming through. Do you do Reiki online? I want to get my solar plexus checked out. I kind of do it by request only. You just need it cleared out is kind of what I'm getting. Like, but if you feel free to drop me a message through the contact form in my website, and we could see what would help you out the best. And we'll see what happens there. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Angel with trucker hats. What is my cat Lola telling me when she shakes my sleeve? I get attention is part of it. She wants attention. That cat's very energetically in tune, by the way. I could definitely see that cat really liking crystals or like crystal grids if you did that, or she might like get up in your business if you started doing energy work. When you say see, you mean in your mind's eye, right? Yeah, intuitive visuals. Sometimes it's yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I can like, I don't know how to describe it. I wish I did, but like I will just look at people and like see the energies and like know things. And so I don't think that's not my mind's eye. That's literally like you can see energetically. And it's difficult to describe because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. But what I mean as far as those visuals, yes, I do mean like intuitive visuals. Sometimes though, those intuitive visuals, which is slightly different than what I was talking about with that thing, is like I'll have it overlaid on my vision. So for instance, like let's say I have a Ganesha tapestry up on my wall, and I look up at the Ganesha tapestry, and all of a sudden, like they'll have like the Ganesha mouth like moving as like he talks, like Ganesha talks to me, but they want to use my visuals as well. It's funny. It can almost look like a cartoon, but or like for instance, I did a reading for someone last night in person, which I rarely do. It was weird, but they showed like there was a hummingbird flying around her, where I just saw a hummingbird with my eyes open, just like flying around her. I guess you could say I like to call them intuitive visuals for some reason, but Yes, kind of like ours, I guess you could say. Um, um, how much are readings? So if you book a personal reading with me through my website, through the link tree in my bio, it's about $100 an hour right now, and then of course there's 50 for 30 minutes, 75 for 45 minutes, um, as well. Do you read for yourself? I will. I'll just like talk to my guides for myself. Sometimes I'll pull cards for me, but I'll definitely I'll channel for myself. Because you can do it for either or. I'll just sit down and like write a channeled message for myself on a piece of paper, as well. Um, okay. So let's see what would be best for me to do. So I guess I'll get back to the Q and channeled A here for a bit and see what's next. And I gotta run. Thank you, Brandon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. You too. Yeah, absolutely. Water check. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water. Okay. Okay, Q&A. Minu VDM 73 asks, does the goddess Minerva watch over me? I get yes. You definitely have multiple, but I do get that's a big one for you, interestingly enough. It's all good, too. Nothing bad going on there. Oh, that's cool. Marmar asked, what is the best way for me to develop my ability? For you, if you get to a point where you feel like if you get to a point where you practice on yourself and you feel ready to start, whether working on pulling cards for other people or whatever you do, I would start practicing with other people, honestly, is what they're talking about. I kind of get, if you feel like you're ready, you're probably ready for that, honestly. They're saying you're ready. I would trust yourself as well, how you feel. But even if it's friends or just people who are open to it, sometimes that can be where more magic happens, is when you have someone else there and like it starts to flow and you get the information, and however it works best for you. Thank you so much for all the hearts you guys are sending me here, by the way, in the live. But that's their first recommendation, was you practicing on other people, because one, you can get feedback and you can get the confirmation it's accurate, and then you can build confidence as well, and that can sometimes be the name of the game, because sometimes people are intuitive and they're good, but then they doubt or they second guess. But the more feedback you have where you're like, okay, that was accurate, okay, that was accurate, okay, that was accurate, you can build confidence, and then like that second guessing goes away, because you're like, okay, no, I'm really helping people, and this is helpful, and I'm really loving what I'm doing. Okay, perfect. We can keep doing this. So that's something they're talking about for you as well. Anything else that would help you specifically? I would be consistent with like practicing it as well. If you're not doing it with other people, I would see what you can do for yourself, whether it's working with the pendulum, pulling cards, whatever your thing is, because consistency in practice is kind of the name of the game. And one thing that I'd like to talk to as well is like, even with like learning guitar or an instrument, like sometimes like you have to put in a lot of the work consistently, especially in the beginning. And then once you get to a certain like point, it's like you don't need to practice as much to maintain your abilities. It kind of just becomes a part of you in a way, you could say, and it becomes more of a constant. So I would also practice to make perfect and permanent, I guess you could say. Like practice to where like your gifts and like the way you operate is like a constant for you, not to put pressure on it, or it's like something you always have access to. That's one thing you could go towards, is like practice until you can bring it into your daily life all the time, is what they're talking about. But you'll get there. You're definitely strong. I get you're strong-willed as well. Not that has anything to do with this. So anything more in particular for you that would help you hone your abilities here? That's what I'm getting for the best way is practicing on others, honestly, to answer that explicitly. I think as long as you keep showing up and practicing, you're gonna be good. I hope that helps, Marmar. I've been listening to bilateral beats to meditate, but I feel further away from source. Why? Let's see what they want to say. Well, I would try meditating without it, first and foremost, if you feel like that's happening. Sometimes it helps, and this is not a fear message, it's more of like an awareness thing, but sometimes the intention that a creator puts into their creation matters. So if someone creates a binaural beat for meditation, it's like, what intention are they putting into that music, or what intention are they holding while they create it? And is it really serving you is a question to check into, if that makes sense. I don't really get it's taking you further away from source, because, at the end of the day, source is all of it, and you're always connected to source because source is everything. But if you're feeling like it's not helping your connection, or you're feeling weird about it, I would try something else, which I know sounds obvious. Because I think it's more about the intention people are putting into those things than it is like you're doing anything wrong. I hope that helps. And if it's, I think one of the key things with anything is the question, like, is this working? And if you don't think it's working, I would try something else. That's kind of like, that's something that I like to say, like, is it working? And if not, what would work? Ooh, okay. Teresa, Danny, so sorry if I'm butchering your name. Looks like you're asking who are my spirit guides. I want to call on. So you want to know who your spirit guides are, and you want to call on them. It's a whole mixture, honestly, of beings. Some of it's like galactic is what I'm seeing. Like I see like Pleiadian, there's definitely angelics in there. And some of it's just like spirit guides, like some of them are very unique to you, because like they're like never before seen. So some of them are just unique spirit guides you have that are just helping you through your life. If you have passed on loved ones, like I definitely see ancestors and passed on loved ones, a couple there as well. But you definitely have a whole team, which sometimes we don't just have one guide. We have like this whole like smorgasbord of of divine beings, you could say. But if you want to call on them, I'm gonna put more detail into this as well. But honestly, just ask is what I've come to. If you want to call on them, just ask, and they're there. It's really what I've found. Like if you want to work with a spirit and archangel, like Archangel Raphael, please work with me in the highest and best ways. Please be with me throughout this whole live. And little Archangel Raphael intervention, I guess. And just help me out in the highest and best ways. Thanks so much. Boom, you're working with Archangel Raphael. Pretty much it. And like as you get more like, I don't know if I want to say with it, but you can also ask to feel their presence. Like, okay, I'm asking my spirit guides here for my highest good. Whoever is highest and best to work with me right now, please make your presence known to me right now. Thanks. And you'll probably feel their energies, or make your presence known to me energetically. Thanks. And you'll feel the energies, honestly. But if you want their help, like with any like worldly endeavor, just ask, honestly. It just set the intention. And how do you set the intention? A good way to set the intention is what I just did. Just, hey, Archangel Raphael, please help me with this. Thanks so much. Please help me with that. Universe, I asked to work with my guides in the highest and best ways going forward. Thanks so much. That's setting the intention to work with your guides. So hopefully that helps and gives you just a bit more clarity on that. You're welcome, Teresa. I'm glad to hear it. keep going here. I answered that. So, oh, thanks for the shout out, Deja. Thank you. Do you offer energy work sessions? I do by request. It's something I've, let's see. If I get a yes, like I'll usually say like, yeah, put it by request. And sometimes I'll do it if I feel guided to. Sometimes I'll refer it out if I feel like there's a better practitioner. It's something in the past I stepped away from a little bit. Just, I don't know why. It's just kind of what I felt called to do. I'm probably going to step back to it pretty soon here just because I know I'm going to be teaching energy work more. I've just been feeling more called to it recently as well. It's kind of, for some reason, I just took a step back in the recent past with it. Schley. Will Justin come back around? Sort of. I feel very connected to him, but can't tell if it's intuition or ego. It's both, honestly. I kind of get don't take him back. He might be back around, but don't take him back is what I'm getting. Because it'll be a lesson if he comes back around is the message I get. Like there is a bit of a connection there, but you might still want to move along anyways. And you might consider doing some type of quick, it doesn't have to be quick, but some type of just cord cutting. Just be like, okay, any connections that don't need to be here, they're not for the highest good. Any cords not for the highest good, Archangel Michael, please take care of that in the highest and best ways. Thanks so much. Or something. I don't think Justin's bad, but I don't get he's the best option for you. Brittany LWM asks, how can I best use my gifts? What are my strongest ones to work on? I'm going to get some specifics as well, but they're like any way you feel called. I would definitely be pulling cards and practicing that way for yourself. And like, I do feel like intention is just a really strong way to start expanding your gifts. And like, even like lighting a candle with the intention that your gifts expand is like a commitment to working with your gifts. But I would be pulling cards on the regular, because it does start getting the energy moving that direction. And then like, you'll find things will start to happen a bit more, even if it's not right away. I kind of get it will be, honestly, but like just putting that effort in and like showing up consistently and doing something, especially even if it's something like that seems, I guess you could say, amorphous, like working with your gifts, it really shows the universe, I guess the way some people say it shows the universe you're serious, and it gives more of a chance for the universe to begin showing you what your gifts are and how to work with them. What are your gifts? I definitely get energy sensitivity. I get you can channel as well as something that's coming through as well. That might be something you have to work on a little bit, but I do see that coming for you if you want to do that. Where you're kind of like receiving messages and just relaying them. And you could probably go full channel mode too if you want to in the future. But what are the other strongest things for you? I do see your intuition is just going to rise, honestly. Intuition, I don't want to say that's a blanket statement, but I do see like a bit of a knowing. I do see intuitive visuals. It's kind of like you'll have the whole shebang, but I would focus on pulling cards. I would look into channeling and like automatic writing might be a good place to start, but I would look into automatic writing as well for you. But let's see, what other messages are here for you regarding that. Energy healing would be good for you. I don't know if it would be your main jam long term. I think it would be something that gets you going and then you kind of transition into other stuff, but it's never a bad idea either, honestly. That's what they're saying, but I hope that helps. Brittany, thank you. That speaks to me perfectly on point, especially the cards. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's like really the good starting point for you. Yeah, I would try automatic writing too. Just set your intentions, like, and you know, again, like I guess I'll just bring through this thing. I know some of you have been following me or been checking in with these lives, probably heard it over and over again, but there's a channeler named Lee Harris, and one thing he recommends with getting started with automatic writing that I liked is like you kind of show up, like set your intentions, like, okay, I have to channel what's pure, the true highest light, highest infinite wisdom, and what's for the highest good for me to channel. And you could just then write at the top of the paper, like, what does my soul want to tell me? And then just let it rip, see what comes through. And one thing he said that I really liked is like, even if it, because it will eventually, but if you feel like you're newer and it's not happening right away, it's more about getting in the frequency of receiving messages, and then it starts happening. And once it starts happening, then you can keep practicing it and get better and better and better. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but once you get a message, you know what it's like, and then you can start paying attention to when you're getting those messages, pretty much. And then it just gets easier. Also, what do I think about one reader telling you one thing and another telling you another? How can you distinguish? That's a great question. The first question I want to ask you is, which one felt better to you? Which one felt lighter and freer and a bit, not necessarily like which one told you what you wanted to hear, but which one felt better when you heard it? And of course, sometimes you get news you don't want to hear and it doesn't feel good, but I mean more on like an energetic level. Like, it's hard to describe, but when you look at like each reader, which one feels lighter to you? And part of the way I mean this is like, let's see if I can describe it in a better way. So there's this thing from Access Consciousness, and it's called light versus heavy. And it's more energetic, but it's like pretty much what they talk about in this book as a tool you can use is what's true for you feels light, and what's a lie for you feels heavier. And it can be another way to discern and to make choices where it's like, okay, and you can also do this like feeling into the future, like which choice feels lighter to me, and you can go the lighter way, and that's going to just be a lighter, better path for you, essentially. So it's like, what I mean by that is like checking in energetically, okay, like did this thing this reader say feel light to me or true? It's easier for like me because I have like my body pendulum honed in, so someone could say something, and if it goes no, I'm like, no, that's not it. But you know, I know it's a bit trickier when you're either newer or getting into this stuff. I would almost like sit with it and pull a card on it yourself and see if you get anything, whatever the topic was. And then like, and just see if do you pull a card that's similar to one of the other readers? Does something someone said feel more true to you than another? Which reader seems more grounded in truth is another question I would ask. Like, that's another thing you could look into. And so just like take a look at the readers and not just the reading. The other thing to say is like time will tell. And I know that's the boring answer because you're like, wait a second. But of course, like time will tell you which one of those readings is accurate, which is kind of the boring answer. But I would really take a step back and like look at the readers, look at their energies, look at the messages, which ones seem to align more with truth based on everything that's felt true to you up to this point. And go the direction that feels lighter and more like free and open to you. So I hope that helps at all. But sometimes you have to get a read on the reader. And let's see. This is part of why I really purport everyone doing their best to open their own intuitive gifts and stuff as well, is you can start to discern more easily, like for yourself. And then the readers become supplementary and helpful in that way, as opposed to you feel like you have to go with what the reader said. Hope that helps. Okay. So my guys are telling me I need to end the live. I don't know how long I've been going, probably a couple hours. Ears are ringing a more higher pitch than usual. What are my guys telling me? I get it's high frequency is part of the earring, like ascension energies. Like a lot of times with like ascension downloads, my ears will start ringing. Is there anything your guides are trying to tell you, Tristan Holverson? Let's see. It's interesting. Like I see like this like I don't know if it's funny because I was talking to one woman, oh Lacey, and she was talking about how like her ears will ring and then they'll pop. Or I have a friend who does that. So they were kind of showing that like they're showing you sitting there with like the and then it's like pop. I kind of get actually for you, Tristan, you might find that you're going to be blown open soon in a good way, like open to source. Because I see you opening up, but it's more like all of a sudden like things open up more rapidly for you is what they're talking about. I get you will get messages if you don't already. I think that's something that's going to happen for you, interestingly enough. But you're going to have some of like the spiritual experiences coming where things open up and are a lot more expansive for you, and like your intuition's blown wide open, and things like that is what they're talking about as well. So I'd keep an eye out for that. I wish I was as focused as you. I'm the most hyper squirrel this side of the prime meridian. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to my guides. I'll answer this really quickly. Dorina, is my ex-husband Cipri my soulmate? I get no, honestly. Not quite. I don't get that he was, but you can start calling soulmates in, is what I get. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you again, Be Divine. So shout out to, oh my gosh, why am I sore? Shout out to the moderators. Thank you so much for Deja, for Lacey, Be Divine, Texas Jess. I don't know if I saw her, but she's usually around. Everyone else who showed up, Destiny Adara, thanks so much for being here and moderating. But I appreciate you guys, and it's good to do this. It was fun to do this live. I hope this was helpful and helped you guys out. Again, I do thank you for the live. You're the best. We love you. Aw, I love you guys too. You guys rock. So I'm gonna, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? That's when you know I need to end the live, when I just start saying random things that don't make sense. And that's not my guides, it's me. Yeah, but I do offer personal readings through the link in my TikTok bio. It's the first link in the link tree there if you're interested. I am gonna start I'm going to start teaching some classes coming up here, especially with Mercury in retrograde over. So I'm going to start putting those up. I'm going to finally do a Reiki class, and then we'll see what other classes I feel called to do. And then other than that, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. And oh yeah, and thanks for Be Divine. I do have a book. It's through the second link in my link tree, Spirit Guides, Angels, and Speaking with Source. I don't have it here. I actually have it behind the shelf behind me. I don't know if you guys need to see it, but that's there. But that's it. I hope this was good, and I will post all the last two Q and channeled A's. I also want to apologize because I forgot to change the title of my lives the past 3 lives I did. So it just said channeled guided meditation for the past 3 lives. And then people would be like, so when's the next channeled guided meditation? I'd be like, why are you asking? But I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't change the title. That wasn't the best example, because the why are you asking? I think someone asked what element are we on? Because I forgot to change the live title from general readings to Q and channeled A. And I was like, oh, I'm curious why they thought it was a general reading. And I was like, oh, I didn't change the title and it's totally my fault and they didn't tell me. So I want to apologize for anyone I was thought it was one live and it wasn't for the past few lives. I must say, I'm looking forward to your Reiki class. Heck yeah, it'll be good. Okay, I will sign off and stop blabbing away. Thank you so much, guys. You are welcome. Do another meditation soon, please. I will. Next Friday, I'll sign up for it. You are forgiven. Thanks, Heather Vibes. Thank you so much, Teresa. All right. I will stop blabbing away at you guys, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you on another live Deja. I hope you have a good day too, and let me hit the right button to end the live, and I will talk to you guys another time.